Imagine opening an envelope, right? You pull out this sketch of a total stranger.
Just a completely random face.
Exactly. And you're told, hey, this is the person you are going to marry.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it sounds like a parlor trick.
Right. Something you'd expect to see at a carnival next to a fortune teller.
Yeah.
But the thing is, thousands of people aren't just buying into this concept.
No, they're using it to do some pretty heavy lifting.
Yeah. They're using it to completely rewire their psychological approach to dating and relationships.
It's a really fascinating phenomenon, honestly, because, we have this deeply ingrained human craving to just, to know we aren't walking blindly into the future.
Especially when it comes to love.
Exactly. When it comes to who we are going to share our lives with, we want a map. We are desperate for a map.
And that search for a map is exactly what we are focusing on for this deep dive.
It's a great topic.
Today, we are looking at some really compelling source material. It's excerpts from a piece titled Visualizing Future Love through Tina Aldea Soulmate Sketches. And we are exploring this very modern intersection of, spiritual practice, deep psychological intuition, and custom art.
The premise alone is wild. It forces us to look at how these ancient desires for certainty are, manifesting in an era where we can literally order a custom portrait of our destiny online.
Yeah, just add to cart. So the mission for our deep dive today is to answer the core question from our sources: can an intuitive sketch actually help you visualize your future soulmate?
It's a heavy question.
It is. But let me be clear right up front.
Yeah.
We are not going to sit here and debate, is this magic or is it not? We are bypassing that entirely.
Yeah, that's not the point here.
Right. We want to explore the psychology of visualization, the actual utility of hope, and why these personalized intuitive experiences are experiencing such a massive boom in popularity right now. Okay, let's unpack this.
Setting that parameter is vital for you listening right now, because whether you rely entirely on, say, hard cognitive science to understand human attraction,
Or if you're drawn to spiritual intuition and universal energy.
exactly. The real value in the source material isn't about trying to prove a psychic phenomenon. It really lies in exploring the mechanism of belief. Like, why do we crave visual storytelling in our romantic lives?
Let's start right there with the how. Building off that universal search for love, why isn't a simple list of traits enough for us?
Oh, the checklist. We all have one.
Right. Most people, at some point, have jotted down or mentally compiled their ideal partner's qualities, like, I want someone funny, emotionally available, maybe tall.
Don't forget good with dogs.
Yes, must love dogs. But why do we need to turn that checklist into a picture?
Well, because the human brain struggles immensely with the abstract. Things like love or emotional maturity are incredibly nebulous concepts.
You can't hold them in your hand.
Exactly. The source notes that while it's completely natural to imagine a future partner, a simple written list remains an intellectual exercise. It's just words.
So a soulmate sketch takes those abstract impressions and transforms them into a concrete piece of visual art.
Right. It gives the brain a tangible target.
Hold on, though. I have to devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
Doesn't drawing a specific face risk making people incredibly superficial?
Ah, I see where you're going.
Like, if the sketch shows someone with a great jawline and piercing eyes, how does that help me visualize emotional maturity? Isn't this just a vision board that might actually distract you from the deeper stuff?
That's a very valid concern. And honestly, it's something psychologists who study visualization talk about a lot.
I would imagine.
But what's fascinating here is that the source material highlights how the opposite psychological shift often occurs. Visualization is a highly established tool in other fields.
Right, like sports.
Exactly. Therapists use it to reduce anxiety. Athletes visualize a successful free throw before they ever touch the basketball.
They see it happening first.
Yeah. So when applied intentionally to relationships, the sketch doesn't make you hyperfixate on the cheekbones. It serves as an anchor.
Oh, an anchor. Okay.
By making the concept of your future partner feel tangible, you actually stop feeling so anxious about when they will arrive. And you start actively considering the qualities that sustain a real connection.
I see. So it's less about the physical face and more about giving your brain a blueprint.
Exactly, a blueprint.
It makes me think of the reticular activating system, the RAS in the brain.
Oh, yes, that's a perfect connection.
It's like when you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars everywhere on the highway. They were always there, but your brain just wasn't primed to look for them?
Yep, the filter was off.
Does visualizing love through a sketch act as a reticular filter for romantic traits?
That is a perfect analogy. The sketch totally primes your RAS. It takes the abstract idea of, I want a good partner, and turns it into a highly specific filter.
So you start noticing those traits in the real world.
Yeah, you start noticing kindness, ambition, and stability in the people around you because your brain has been given a concrete blueprint to scan for.
You transition from passively waiting for the universe to drop someone in your lap to intentionally seeking out the specific values that genuinely matter to you.
You're doing the work instead of just waiting.
Okay, so if visualization is the destination, the filter we are trying to create in our own minds,
Yeah.
how do we get there?
You mean the process itself?
Yeah, what is the engine creating these images in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Because the source material talks a lot about the creator's process. Specifically, that line between intuition and imagination.
Right, and the text provides a really fascinating split definition here.
Let's hear it.
It defines intuition broadly as an inner sense of knowing without relying on conscious reasoning.
Like a gut feeling.
Exactly, those moments where you say, I just knew we would get along, or something told me to take this job.
I think everyone listening has felt that at least once. But where does that feeling actually come from?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right, because if I'm paying an artist to draw my soulmate, I really want to know if they're just making it up or if there's an actual mechanism at play.
Well, from a psychological standpoint, researchers associate intuition with subconscious pattern recognition. Your brain is essentially a supercomputer.
Crunching numbers in the background.
Constantly, it is taking in millions of microcues, a second body language, tone of voice, environmental data, and synthesizing them into a gut feeling vastly faster than your conscious mind can process.
That the spiritual side sees it differently, right?
Yeah, the spiritual tradition describes intuition as a deeper connection to inner wisdom or universal energy.
But the text points out that the line between intuition and imagination is incredibly blurry.
Very blurry.
Because imagination is conscious creativity. Like if I sit down to write a story, I am deliberately inventing characters.
You're making choices.
Yes, but intuition is spontaneous. So how does an artist doing a soulmate sketch claim they are using intuition and not just their imagination? Aren't they just inventing a face?
This is where we look at the cognitive science of the creative flow state, which the text heavily implies is the engine here.
Okay, the flow state.
Yeah. In neuroscience, there's a concept called transient hypofrontality.
Transient hypo what?
Hypofrontality. It basically means that during deep, intuitive creative work, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-editing, conscious planning, and doubt, temporarily powers down.
Oh, so it literally shuts down the inner critic.
Yes, exactly. And when that happens, the artist isn't consciously saying, I'll draw a big nose and blue eyes.
They aren't building a suspect composite sketch.
Right. They enter a state where ideas emerge naturally. They rely on that subconscious pattern recognition we just talked about. They receive impressions rather than deliberately constructing them.
That sounds exactly like the difference between playing sheet music and a jazz musician improvising in the moment.
Oh, I like that.
Because playing the sheet music is imagination and conscious effort, right? You're reading the notes and actively translating them.
It's mechanical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the jazz musician in a flow state, their prefrontal cortex is quiet. They aren't thinking about the notes anymore. They are just receiving the music and letting it play through them based on years of internalized musical patterns.
That's a brilliant way to conceptualize it. And this raises an important question, which the text tackles head on.
Which is?
Does it actually matter if the resulting sketch is an objective, scientifically accurate psychic premonition?
Like if it's a genuine transmission from the universe or just a really good subconscious jazz solo?
Exactly that. The source material emphasizes that for the participants, the experience itself and their personal beliefs are what dictate the meaning.
It's not about playing detective.
No, not at all. You aren't meant to take a ruler to the sketch and compare it to the facial proportions of your eventual spouse.
That would be a little intense.
A little bit. The profound meaning is generated by the user's interpretation of those intuitive impressions. It's about how the art makes them feel and act.
So if intuition is this internal jazz solo of subconscious patterns, how is a service like the Tina Aldea Psychic mentioned in the text claiming to tune into your specific frequency?
That's the personalized aspect of it.
Right. How does that leap from abstract psychology to a highly tailored, purchasable product actually happen? Let's look at how this is packaged and consumed today.
Well, the Tina Aldea experience specifically blends that intuitive guidance with artistic creativity. They offer custom soulmate sketches inspired by a person's specific romantic energy and emotional connection.
It's not just a generic stock image.
Exactly. The key element here is that it is not mass-produced artwork. It is entirely bespoke.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. Think about the modern dating landscape for a second.
Oh boy, it's a lot.
It really is. We live in a world where we are utterly exhausted by algorithms curating our romantic lives.
The endless swiping.
Yes. You log onto an app, and an algorithm feeds you a generic, gamified stream of faces based on your location and a few basic data points. It is incredibly sterile.
It totally lacks a soul.
Yes. But a service like this, Custom Sketch, it's like a friend making you a highly specific, personalized mixtape based on your unique emotional state.
Instead of Spotify just auto-generating a chill vibes playlist.
Exactly. It feels deeply intentional.
The psychological weight of personalization cannot be overstated. Humans are hardwired to connect with experiences that feel tailored to their unique existence.
We want to feel seen.
Exactly. The text uses a great comparison here. Consider the emotional impact of receiving a handwritten letter in the mail versus a generic email blast.
Oh, there is no comparison.
Right. Or hanging a custom portrait of your family versus leaving the stock image of a smiling family inside the picture frame you just bought.
But wait, why do we need someone else to do this for us?
What do you mean?
Well, if this is all about priming our own brain, why couldn't I just sit down and draw a stick figure of my ideal partner and get the exact same psychological benefit?
Oh, that's a great question. Because psychological distance creates room for surprise. And surprise commands emotional engagement.
Oh, that makes sense. If I draw it, I know what's coming.
Exactly. When someone else creates the sketch, it serves as a mirror reflecting back to you something you might not have consciously realized about yourself.
It sneaks past your defenses.
Yeah. Because it is designed around your specific energy, it bypasses your own pre-programmed biases. It becomes memorable and impactful.
Regardless of whether you actually believe in soulmates.
Exactly. Completely, regardless of whether you hold deep spiritual beliefs about soulmates or if you just view it as a fascinating psychological exercise.
Okay, but because it is so deeply personal and emotional, that naturally leads to the most critical question.
The reality check.
Yes, we have to do a reality check here. Does it actually work as a crystal ball?
Right.
Let's say I buy one of these sketches, and the artist draws a brunette with glasses. Am I supposed to immediately dump my blonde partner and start hanging out outside optometry clinics?
Please do not do that. And the source material is remarkably clear and upfront about this, specifically warning against that exact kind of rigidity.
Good to know.
It's actually the most common question people ask.
Yeah.
And the text states explicitly there is zero scientific evidence demonstrating that soulmate sketches can accurately predict the exact identity or appearance of a future partner.
Zero scientific evidence.
None.
So if it's not a turn-by-turn GPS directing you to the exact coordinates of your soulmate, what is it? I mean, to me, it feels more like psychological priming. Or maybe, to use a different lens, like a really good movie trailer.
A movie trailer? How do you mean?
Well, a movie trailer doesn't show you every plot twist.
Right.
And it doesn't give you the full experience of the film.
No, it just gives you the highlights.
Exactly. But it gets you incredibly excited for the genre of romance you want to experience. It sets the tone.
Oh, I like...
It shows you the emotional highlights of what is possible. But you still have to buy the ticket, go to the theater, and sit through the actual movie. The trailer doesn't do the work for you.
That is spot on. The text outlines that instead of treating these sketches as literal, infallible predictions, healthy participants use them as creative explorations.
They use them as tools.
Yeah. They are spiritual exercises. They serve as symbolic interpretations and fantastic conversation starters.
And most importantly, they are diagnostic tools.
Yes. When you look at this custom sketch, the art functions as symbolism. It prompts you to ask thoughtful, sometimes difficult questions that you might have been actively avoiding.
Questions like what?
Well, questions like, am I actually emotionally ready for love right now? Or am I just lonely?
Ouch. That's a big one.
Right. Or have I been completely overlooking meaningful connections that are right in front of me because they didn't match a superficial checklist?
What kind of relationship would genuinely make me happy? Those are heavy questions that a dating app algorithm never forces you to ask.
And that is why the source explicitly advocates for what it calls healthy curiosity.
You have to keep a level head.
Yeah. It warns that no sketch can replace the foundational reality of human connection. Lasting relationships require real-world building blocks.
Things like communication and vulnerability.
Exactly. Shared experiences, emotional support, mutual respect, commitment. You can't just bypass all that.
So if I get a sketch of a brunette with glasses and I'm dating a blonde, it doesn't mean the relationship is doomed.
Definitely not.
It means I need to look at the energy of the sketch, the kindness or the stability it represents, and ask if my current relationship has those underlying traits.
Precisely. The true value isn't finding an exact physical clone of the drawing in a coffee shop.
Right.
The value is using the artwork to diagnose your own emotional readiness and values.
This brings up a bit of a paradox, though.
How so?
If these sketches are explicitly not scientifically proven to predict the future, and the creators acknowledge they are primarily a tool for reflection, why is this industry booming?
It is huge right now.
Why are intelligent, rational people dropping money on personalized, intuitive art?
It all comes down to the measurable return on investment of hope.
The ROI of hope.
Yeah. We often treat hope like it's just a passive, warm, fuzzy feeling, like wishing on a star.
Something that just happens to you.
Exactly. But psychologically speaking, hope is an active, aggressive, behavioral driver.
The source material lays out exactly who is buying these sketches, actually.
Who is it?
It's spiritual seekers, sure, but it's also art lovers,
Yeah.
the purely curious, and people looking for unique gifts. It even explicitly notes that skeptics buy them.
Even skeptics.
Yeah. They are popular because they are emotionally engaging and visually meaningful. But you're right, the real meat of this is the behavioral impact.
When you instill hope in someone, when you give them a visual anchor that suggests positive relationships are actually possible for them, it radically alters their day-to-day behavior.
Now let's get really concrete with this, because hope acts almost like a confidence catalyst.
It really does.
If you genuinely believe deep down that you are on the right path and moving toward meeting someone great, you are going to physically navigate the world differently.
Your body language literally changes.
Exactly. Think about standing in line at the grocery store.
Okay, picture it.
If you are burned out on dating and feel hopeless, you are staring down at your phone.
Doom scrolling.
Right. You're hunching your shoulders, hoping no one perceives you. But if you have this primed blueprint in your mind, this hope, you stand up straighter.
You look around.
Yes. Instead of a 1-second accidental glance at the person next to you, you make a 3-second intentional eye contact. You smile.
You communicate more confidently. You start noticing opportunities that your brain previously would have filtered out as completely irrelevant.
You become significantly more intentional.
Yeah, about how you date, where you go, and who you allow to take up your time.
You aren't just waiting for lightning to strike. You are building a lightning rod.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes clear why this trend is exploding.
Because hope works.
Right. Hope alone doesn't spontaneously generate a healthy relationship out of thin air. But an experience centered around visualizing your future reinforces the exact optimistic mindset that is required.
To foster a meaningful connection when it finally does present itself. You have to believe the house can be built before you bother laying the foundation. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, but, in the best possible way.
Yeah, a positive loop.
You visualize the good, you expect the good, and so your actual physical micro-behaviors align with attracting the good.
The sketch doesn't necessarily change the future. It changes your body language and your mindset today.
Which inevitably shapes your future.
Beautifully said.
This has been such a fascinating journey through this material.
It really is.
We started by asking if an intuitive sketch from a service like Tina Aldea Psychic could actually help you visualize your future soulmate.
And what we found is pretty layered.
Yeah. It almost doesn't matter if you view that sketch as a genuine transmission of universal energy, a fun talking point for your next dinner party, or a deeply grounded neurological exercise in priming your reticular activating system.
The label doesn't change the effect.
Exactly. Its real power lies in how it forces you to shift your perspective.
It is a deliberate catalyst for internal change.
It takes the search for love, which for so many people has devolved into this anxious, desperate, swipe-fatigued hunt for a needle in a haystack.
A very exhausting hunt.
And turns it back into an engaging, optimistic, and highly intentional journey of self-discovery. So what does this all mean for you?
Well, we've spent this entire time unpacking how to visualize the energy of your future partner.
Right.
We talked about defining the traits you want, the emotional maturity you desire, and building the blueprint for the house you want to live in.
Focusing entirely on them.
Exactly. But I want to leave you with this thought to mull over. What if an artist were to draw a sketch based solely on your current romantic energy?
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If someone tapped into the traits, the body language, and the emotional availability you are projecting into the world right now, today, what would that sketch look like?
That is a tough question.
And perhaps more importantly, is that sketch someone your ideal soulmate would actually want to meet?
Oof. Now that is a mirror worth looking into.
It really flips the perspective.
It totally does. We spend so much time staring at the horizon, looking for signs of who is coming toward us, that we completely forget to check the signal we are broadcasting out.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, keep looking for those signs, but remember to do the work too. Catch you next time.